Hey fellow Star Wars nerds, Minutia Minute here, coming at you guys with more Star Wars CCG memories. Today I thought it might be kind of fun to dig into the Hoth customizable card game expansion, but first I wanted to do a quick follow-up on the New Hope expansion, which I talked about last week. If you didn't see that video, it was a lot of fun. I opened 3 A New Hope card packs, and then I also opened up one of my enhanced Premier decks. It was the Darth Vader one, so we were able to pull from that pack, obviously, the Darth Vader with a lightsaber. And then also the big get was this unlimited edition of Princess Leia, which was pretty exciting to pull. Now, what I forgot to call out in that video was if you're ever buying a booster box for Star Wars, if you get a new sealed box, on the top of it, it is going to come with a handy dandy rules supplement, which is actually pretty cool. So it goes through, talks about updates to the cards. I incorrectly stated in that video that there weren't any new rule sets for A New Hope. That was actually wrong. There are some updates, and by some I mean pages and pages and pages and, well, one really long page, we'll say. Now, that said, these are relatively small changes. Like, really, it's a rule supplement than it is like a whole new set of rules. One thing about the Decipher card game is they like to be funny, which when your rule supplement is this dense, maybe not the best time for levity, maybe focus more on brevity. But there are some fun little tidbits in here. So, for example, Brainiac was a card that was introduced. He's a character from the Cantina. Brainiac has a destiny of pi. If you're confused about how to use this destiny number, listen to the words of Brainiac himself. One cannot do less than is required, nor more than is allowed. And then right below it, if you're confused about how to use this card, listen to the words of himself. That's the rule supplement. Fun fact. Hoth also had a rule set, or a rule supplement. This one is a bit more in-depth because the way location deployment worked in Hoth is a little bit different because of the different markers that lead from the ice tundra to the rebel base on Hoth, what is inside the shield, what is outside the shield, etc., etc. So it kind of goes through how all that works. There's some supplements on deploying Starfighters. Here's all the markers actually here, explaining how that works. As I said, this one is, as you can see, significantly longer. And that's, I think, the end of it. Is there... Nope, there's more on the back. Shuttling and transferring, new carrying rules, persona rules, mining droid rules, armored droid rules, artillery weapons rules, so on and so forth. And then one of the nice things is it does also have a card list on it. So if you want to know all the different cards that are in the Hoth set, they're all right here. And it also gives you their rarity. So if you remember, I was saying there are different levels of rarity within the common, uncommon, rare structure, which is what makes cards like Darth Vader in the Premier set so elusive. So it breaks down R1, R2, R3, etc., etc. So yeah, just kind of a cool little piece of history. If you don't ever buy a booster box, you won't see one of these. So it's just a cool piece of memorabilia that I thought you guys might appreciate. So anyway, on to the main event. I'm going to open up some Hoth boosters for you guys. This booster box is getting a little bit lean, so I'm only going to open up 3 packs for you guys today. That'll leave me with 6 to save for a rainy day. My A New Hope box is about half full. My Premier box is a little over half full, so I'll be digging more into those again. But for me, Hoth right now is just not as available, so I want to savor the moment and only open 3 packs. But I bet you we can pull something pretty awesome from one of these 3 guys. Now, as I said last time, Decipher kind of changed up how they released their sets. So we had Premier and A New Hope, which were all based on the original Star Wars. The core set and the first expansion basically made up the complete first set of cards. When they got to Empire Strikes Back, they started adding rules, and they also realized that, hey, we've only got 3 movies here, so we really need to make a point of milking this out, or we're going to run out of expansions. So instead of having a Empire Strikes Back expansion, they had a Hoth expansion. It does say Empire Strikes Back under it, but this is the only set to actually call out the movie that it's from. Instead, they switched completely to planets. So you got Hoth, after this was Dagobah, and then finally Cloud City rounded out the 3 expansions that were Empire Strikes Back focused. And then for Return of the Jedi, we got Jabba's Palace, which is even more specific. It's not even all of Tatooine, it's just Jabba's Palace. We got Endor and the Death Star 2 as the 3rd location for that. And then by the time we got to Episode 1, a large portion of that takes place on Tatooine, so the Tatooine-themed expansion set is actually Episode 1 focused, more so than general Star Wars Tatooine focused from like the classic trilogy. Although there were some classic trilogy cards in the Episode 1 expansion. But that's a video for, I don't know, a year from now. We'll see how long I can milk this out for. So anyway, we've got our first pack here. So we should have, I think, the commons in the front. And then we do get this customizable card game insert card. And then behind it is going to be our uncommons and our rares. So we'll set this aside for a moment. And let's take a look and see what our commons are. So we've got Echo Trooper Backpack, a device. The character can carry any number of weapons and devices. The trooper is immune to attrition less than 3 when at a planet site. I didn't realize there were limitations on what you could carry. I'm sure that's in the rulebook somewhere, but I would assume it's just like 1 of each or something. Kind of cool. A creature vehicle, Tauntaun. This is part of the interesting thing about the CCG is it's like you have a creature card type, you have a droid card type, you have a vehicle card type, you have a starship card type, and a character card type. So then what do you put Tauntaun in? Like, is it a creature? Is it a vehicle? Looks like we decided to make it a vehicle. Medium repeating blaster cannon. Deploy on any site, may be moved by 2 warriors for 1 additional force. Alright, we've got a location. This is a light side location, and it is the medical bay. You can deploy medical droids here for cheap. By the way, quality level on these cards, if you can't tell, I don't know how well this stuff comes up on camera, but you compare these cards to the quality of the Premier set and even the A New Hope set, and it's night and day. Like, I mean, these still aren't like the highest quality cards ever, but I mean, you feel the difference just by holding them. It's hard to explain, but they're definitely a little bit more durable, and they have a lot better hand feel on them as well. All right, so we've got a Tauntaun Handler, an effect, which is Frostbite, which basically is just a ticking clock for attrition every single round. We have FX-10, who is a medical droid used by the Imperials. Our first catch of the day. Used interrupt. Alright, and so then here we've got the Hoth defense perimeter, and this is the dark side one. Yep. And this is a cool element of the Hoth set. So basically, when you were playing on Hoth, you had to start at one side of the map and go inward towards the base. And these different markers were put down, and you could actually stall the Imperials by putting more markers in their way from getting to the Rebel base, if that kind of makes sense. So it told you where on the map these markers were supposed to go, which was explained in that rule supplement. But really kind of a cool setup for gameplay that really reflected the movie that these cards are based on. All right, we've got Turn It Off, a used or lost interrupt. And then finally, Image of the Dark Lord. So then that leaves our uncommons and our rare. We have Ord Mantell. Han Solo's battle with the bounty hunter at Ord Mantell made him change his mind, which in the Star Wars Holiday Special is Boba Fett. Fun fact. First appearance of Boba Fett in the Star Wars Holiday Special. This is the light side version of the card. All right, we've got a laser battery. We've got a loss interrupt exposure. And then breached defenses. So now I'm a little bit confused because I guess I don't know which one is the rare. So let me just really quick, through the magic of editing, figure that out for you guys. Okay guys, sorry for the confusion. Image of the Dark Lord is our rare. So sorry, I breezed right over that. Use 4 force to deploy at any site if opponent is generating at least 3 force more than you. At that site, adjacent sites, and same site as Vader, players activate force only if they have presence. Basically, it forces your hand in making you put characters into play in order to activate the force that you need, but then that can also leave you vulnerable because then the Imperials can dogpile on you and cause you to lose a bunch through attrition in a battle. If you don't have a character at a location, all they can do is force drain you at that location, which basically makes you lose force equal to the number of lightsaber icons on that card, whereas you can use a lot more if you're actually in all-out battle. So if you don't have a character in a location, you don't get the benefit of having that location. So interesting strategic card there. It's an effect. Obviously, I'm kind of sentimental looking for characters or like special weapons or things like that, but cool enough, I guess, as a rare. I'll put this one over here. And so then these 4 were our uncommons. All right, next pack. All right, right on the top, we've got a card that looks familiar. So I am going to do this a little bit differently this time. I am going to take these uncommons that are behind the insert. Then I'm going to turn this upside down. This should be our rare card. As you can see, it's an Imperial card. I'm going to drop it right down here. And then we'll look at these ones at the end. Once again, we will start with our commons. So we've got Tauntaun a second time. Medium range blaster cannon again. Wow, okay, the Hoth Echo Base Med Lab again. Also, okay, a Tauntaun Handler. Okay, alright. So at least we got something different now. We've got a Vehicle Mine, which is an automated weapon. That's funny. I mean, literally the first half of this pack was identical to the other pack we literally just opened. That's insane. Alright, we've got an Imperial Supply. Basically lets you activate additional force. That's pretty cool. Another Vehicle Mine. This is the Imperial version of it. Same card, basically. All right, we got another marker. This is the 5th marker, the Hoth Ice Plains. I actually really liked these different marker cards because it created a sense of geography to the planet Hoth. And since it told you what order to put them in, these cards kind of add a little bit more of a frame of reference to it. All right, we've got He Hasn't Come Back Yet, a Lost Interrupt. And Infantry Mine. The CCG and their mine cards, I'll tell you what. This is clearly a Photoshop job, by the way. All right, so there's our commons. Let's sneak over, take a look at our uncommons and our rare. So we got our insert card here. And first up, we've got the Hoth Echo Command Center. Am I looking at this upside down? I think I am. It's the light side version. So yeah, this is the correct orientation. All right, I spied a character card. We've got Sean Valdez Experienced evacuation officer. He's an evacuation officer. That's funny. Charismatic leader of Echo-based troopers, trained to expedite the evacuation of rebel installations with maximum efficiency. He's a poetic musician. I think it's funny that the Rebel Alliance has an officer that's an expert at evacuations, because they're clearly used to having to flee wherever it is that they're at. That's kind of hilarious. All right, we've got direct hit, a used or lost interrupt, which basically allows you to add destiny when targeting a combat vehicle. I've used this card in the past in various deck builds. All right, and then we've got another corridor this way. So this is the dark side version of it. And similar to the various markers, it's cool seeing all the different sections of Hoth base and having those realized on cards, because again, it just adds an element of geography to the movie that you maybe don't get just by watching it on its own. Okay, so if I've done this right, our next card should be our rare. It is not looking good. Okay, so this is a trick I learned from another YouTuber. I'm going to put his name here because I can't remember it off the top of my head. I'm sorry. But he looks at his destiny number first, because if it's a low destiny, that means the card's probably really good. But if it's a high destiny, it means it probably isn't so good, because usually a poor card is offset with a high destiny value so that you at least have an incentive to use that card. So in this case, we got Meteor Impact. A Utini effect. Use 2 force to deploy on an exterior planet site. Target a character on same planet. Character may not leave planet or move away from Utini effect. Utini effect canceled when reached by target. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that's, I don't know. Not the coolest card ever. Maybe it's useful? I don't know. I'd have to think about that if I really want to mess with that card in a future deck build. I don't know. All right, guys. 1 pack left. Okay, so we've got our 4 uncommons plus the insert. This should be our rare. And then here are our commons. So we've got Hoth Defense Perimeter, the 3rd marker. You'll note we already saw the dark side version of this card, which depicts the rebels on the run and the defense perimeter completely broken. Hoth Echo Corridor. I'd just as soon kiss a Wookiee as play this card. Lots of locations in the Hoth set, I feel like. Another Hoth Echo Medlab. All right. Used Interrupt. R2 Sensor Array, a device. Cold Feet. That's the worst. He hasn't come back yet. Another interrupt. Oh, that's kind of cool. We got a Snow Trooper. One of the things I like about this card is you can see it's got a snowflake Imperial logo in the corner. So it's different than the regular Imperial logo that you get in Imperial cards. Just kind of a cool little flourish. All right, we've got Frostbite. I think we pulled this card already. And then finally, the North Ridge. This is the 4th marker. It's the Imperial version. And AT-ATs moved to here for free. All right, so that wraps up our commons. On to the main event. What did we pull for uncommons and rares? Ooh, another character. So this is Terran Farr, Chief Controller at Echo Command, responsible for communicating orders to the troops, personally gives firing orders to Ion Cannon Control, which is pretty much the only thing we know about her from the movie. So there you go. All right, next up, that's okay. So we got a vehicle, Snowspeeder. This is a decent set of uncommons so far. We've got Probe Antennae. That's it. The rebels are there. That's our last uncommon. During our control phase, move one of our starships at normal use of the Force to a system where you have a probe droid at a related site. That starship cannot move again this turn. Okay, guys, rare time. It is, it's gonna be an effect. Wow, 7. What does that mean? We've got Mournful Roar. Deploy on Chewie just after Han is lost or missing. Opponent cannot play Let the Wookiee Win or Wookiee Roar. Opponent must lose 1 force at end of every player's turn. Effect canceled if Han is deployed again or found. So first of all, you have to have the Han Solo card. Your opponent has to have the Let the Wookiee Win or Wookiee Roar cards. Han has to be lost or missing. You have to have Chewie, and then this card is useful. Yeah. Feeling a little bitter about that. Gonna be honest. Just a little bit bitter. I don't feel like you see very many 7s, though. I'll give it that. You got 7s. Alright, guys, so yet another wash. The luck on these cards is very, very, very low. So it is what it is. It was still fun opening these up for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and digging into the Hoth Star Wars customizable card game expansion. I will be back with another video very soon in which we'll look at some more Star Wars CCG cards. We just have to open up enough packs and eventually we'll win something good. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys have a great week in gaming.